Hey baddies, this is part 2 of our Love is Blind season 7 recap of episodes 1 to 6. If you want to get into what we had to say about the whole Leo love triangle fiasco, which turns into the Hannah fiasco, go ahead and listen. And we also started the Alexandra Tim conversation there. Other than that, enjoy part 2. I hope you like, comment, and subscribe. Who is your favorite couple? That's what you can tell me below because I want to know. Bye. They have this argument. He comes back in. He's not having it. He's like over it. She's trying to butter him up a little. She's like, come closer. This is how I know she was in the wrong. More than him. Cause she trying to get closer. He's like, nah. Like he's like stonewalling. I am done here. She's like, no. This can be like made over with some sex. You fire signs. Your sex does not outweigh your toxicity. I'm sorry. It's Libra season now. let me tell you the truth. Okay. Let me tell you the truth. So, yeah, he says that she called him out his name. First of all, she had an attitude. This is where it all started. She said she was missing home, but she wasn't saying anything about that, leaving him to be in his own thoughts of being like, is it me? Like, what's happening? Now, Quita, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
He didn't give her space for her internal world. Yeah. But literally all he was asking was communication. Just simply, I miss home.
Right. Right. I hear that, right? I hear you on that. And I think a part of it also is like forcing someone to communicate their feelings when they're indicating that they are not in a place to do that is also not helpful because they're already indicating that something emotionally is off or wrong or keep making them angry, sad, whatever it is, you know? And I think a part of it, and this might be my own trigger, right? Around like, I feel like sometimes as a Black femme, like I feel like a lot of times people don't meet Black women and femmes with like softness when something is wrong with them, you know? Like it's like, you need to tell me what is wrong with you. You're not telling me what is wrong with you. You're upset with me. You know, it's like now he's going off on his own story about what's going on with him. And I get he needed some communication from her, but also he could have just simply been like, okay, cool. It seems like something's wrong. Like, what do you need? And kept it at that. Right. But it's like, he became consumed about his own feelings. And now they end up arguing because he's upset. She's trying to tell, you know, because they mentioned, he was like, you called me insecure. And she's like, oh, I was saying you're speaking from your own insecurities, right? So that meant she was trying to indicate this don't have nothing to do with you. But because I'm not communicating what it is, you are running with your own insecurities because that's what comes up for a lot of people when someone's upset and they aren't sure if it's about them. It's from a place of insecurity of this person's upset with me. Because if you were secure in the fact that you know they can't be mad at you, you wouldn't be spiraling, right?
I mean, but has been picking with him. Like, I think I get you. I think if they didn't already have this weird combative energy
that they both are participating in,
then he wouldn't have. It's like, I don't think that thought came out of the blue. Like, I think the underlying thing is Alexandra does not like this man. She does not respect this man.
No.
Because he's talking about, you covered my mouth. She's like, well, I put my hand on your, like, you putting hands?
Yeah,
and the first time, Tim was so clear. This is my thing, because I actually really respect Tim. Tim was so clear about his boundaries at the start when they're talking. Everything's cool. He's like, if I don't fight, like, I don't fight. If it ever gets to a certain point, I'm out. Alexandra is one of those girlies who likes to fight because she's like, you're not going to fight for your wife. Girl, fighting for your wife is like, I would hope you're fighting to outside factors, not literally your wife.
Right. But then again, right, here's my issue. Tim is so consumed with his own self, that should have been a flag for him too, right? Because it's like, he's not asking her or like, because he communicates about how, or he's sharing about how he feels about fights. He doesn't do little fights. He doesn't do the fighting, but you don't hear him clearly articulate how Alex engages in conflict, right? Like he only is sharing from. My thing is like, it feels like he's like, I'm telling you who I am, but I'm like, are you actually learning who she is? Or are you just like giving out this information and assuming that she agrees with you or she's the same way as you without actually starting to understand who this woman is?
Well, do you think she was agreeing or disagreeing? Because I read disagree. She was like, oh, you're not going to fight for your wife because he's talking about leaving.
Exactly. That's my thing is like, she is disagreeing. Okay. But he is not asking her more questions about that.
I mean, he might have. It's an edited show.
Right. But I don't think he is. I don't think these people are actually learning a lot about each other, and they're learning in real time through actual conflict how they show up in conflict.
Yeah.
And I think Tim is very used to sharing his own stuff. And I don't know if he's used to actually learning about, and I don't even know if he's concerned with learning about the Black woman that he wants to be in a relationship, or he wants her to be his emotional mule, you know? And like, you know,
maybe
because their conversation, their dates were often very heavy because of what he was sharing. And then he's like, our dates have been so heavy. I wasn't sure if we can have fun, but it's like, nigga, it's you.
Yeah.
You're the reason. Like, I'm like, you're talking to a Leo. Anything I know about a fire sign, we gonna have a good time most times until we're not having a good time. Yeah. And you've learned, like, so I'm just like, are you actually learning about this woman? Or are you just like wanting a safe place to be vulnerable? Yeah. And if that case, you need a therapist, not a wife.
I mean, I absolutely noticed how many men in general this season were saying that they're safe. And I'm like, but I haven't heard one soul woman say it. Like, I'm not hearing it. But also I'm noticing some of these women have a little bit of desire for toxic masculinity. So then it's like, would they even want it? I don't know. But the disrespect Ori happened. I think our cliffhangers literally Alexandra hugging this man, and he has like the 1,000-yard stare. I was like, free this man, free him.
And it's like, it's okay to honor people's boundaries. When she was like, come closer, and he said no, it's okay to be like, okay, I'm going to give you that space. I think also
she went closer because she do not respect him. She do not respect him. It's like, and that disrespect came out quickly the minute she was upset. And apparently it has nothing to do with you, but you put your hand over my mouth. I'm sorry. It's a lie. I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
If I'm upset about something and someone is not giving me space to just be upset, and then they're just like talking at me, and he noted he did note that the way he was talking to her was probably not the tone he should have been using, right? So it's like, if she's already upset and then you low-key kind of yelling at her, did you think it was going to de-escalate the situation, or did you know it probably would escalate the situation? Not to say he was right for what she did, because she wasn't, but I'm just like, I don't understand what he thought. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm like, did he think he was going to yell at her and she would just start being vulnerable?
Well, I also don't even know if he started out yelling. That's not what she said. It felt like he was concerned. He's asking her a bunch of stuff, and maybe she was like, look, if you want it, here you go. And it just then escalated because he kept saying, then talk. He said he kept like basically begging her for communication. Yeah. And I guess maybe she was too mad at him trying to communicate that then it just became a fight where we're calling each other outside of our names, or really her outside of his name. So
yeah, I don't think it's going to work. Because also
I don't think so.
And he said his mother said he should get a strong-willed woman. I don't know if he actually wants a strong-willed woman.
I don't think that's an issue. I'm such a Tim defender right now. Like, why?
You are, but that's fine. I mean, I think because a part of it, I'm like, yes, some of this is toxicity, but I think a part of it is like, she is stuck in her own thing, right? And that's a part of someone being strong-willed. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm 10 toes down on my stuff,
Yeah.
and he's 10 toes down on his, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, do you actually want someone who's like that, or do you want someone who actually is going to meet you closer to where you are a bit more? Actually,
I don't think strong means I can't compromise. Like, I don't want to conflate strength with not being able to compromise and not being able to communicate.
Well, I mean, I think, not to say it's not to communicate, but I think if you are strong-willed, you are not, like, you know, I'm like, they won't easily compromise, right? Because I'm like, compromise requires someone who's a bit more flexible and chill. And I don't think either of these people are very chill.
I think
like, I'm just like,
I think Tim is the chillest. Like,
and he's not chill. Right? It's like, yeah, he's the chillest out of these two, but that ain't saying much. You know, I'm just like,
you acting like he's bouncing off the walls. The man tried on a hat once.
No, what I mean by chill is like, he took pleasure in annoying her. That is not chill. That is not chill at all. You know? Yeah. I feel like someone who was a bit more chill, when she made that comment, they would have been like, okay, well, I'm going to get it anyway. Or like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. Right. Yeah. But he wanted to go back and forth with her. And I'm like, the fact that they like going, I'm like, that's not chill though.
Some people like to flirt that way. I think it's an immature way to flirt. It's how I used to flirt, like middle to high school. And then I was like, actually, you might just hate me. We might just hate each other.
Right. We actually just might not like each other as people.
But that
we might
takes
be attracted to each other.
That takes maturity, because I also acknowledge that in pop culture, when we see romance, sometimes the whole like enemy, like there's just so many examples of toxicity that in romance and flirting and stuff, especially between straight people, because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the heteros right now.
Yeah.
I really like, they're all playing these scripts. Like, when it comes to our dude, Nick and Tim, it's giving they're the husband on the sitcom who just wants to have fun and have a good time. And then Alexandra and Hannah are playing into the nag. Why can't you just have a good time? And I really want to be on their side because of that script. But then I'm also like, why are we escalating over a duck and a hat? And it's like, they also levy their attraction against these men, against them, in a way that's like, I'm sorry, if the shoe was on the other foot, we would not be okay with that. We would not be okay with, ooh, this man being like, ooh, if you're gonna pull on that dress, I don't like that. I'm gonna be turned off. So it's like, what are we doing here? Like, I can't be more mad at the men who are just doing them than the women who are like getting worked up of them just doing them.
That's true. But I think also a part of this is like, I feel very protective of like Black women. I think
I do too.
And I feel like once I heard that initial thing that set that off, a part of me just felt like, I'm like, oh, well, were you like emotionally available for her to just like kind of open? Because again, like we've said, like these men keep noting how they feel safe, but I'm like, a part of being willing to be vulnerable is someone else feel, you know? So I'm just like, are they actual creating emotional safety for these women to feel like they can be vulnerable, they can share what's going on with them? Because I'm like, odds are they probably aren't, because they're so consumed with what they're feeling.
Absolutely. Tim needs to lay more of a safe foundation for Alexandra, and Alexandra needs to keep her hands to herself.
Please.
And stop calling people outside their names over some bull, okay?
And if you just don't like this man, leave.
Like, all of these women are acting like they are kept there with these like men they don't like. Leave.
Right. It's like, this love triangle. Whew.
Would you jump into this polycule?
God, no. I would stay far, far away.
Okay. I wasn't sure what the vibe was. I wasn't sure of the vibe. Now, Marissa is an Aries, and she's stuck between two men. Ramses, who's a Cancer, but he also said he was a Cancer double Leo, which might have tipped the scales. I don't know.
Might have. It truly did. The way she said, shut it down. I'm going to go tell Bodhi it's over now.
So wild. I was like, wait, what? And then Bowden?
Well, I think
Yeah,
she called
Bowden.
him, like, nicknamed him Bodhi, but it's Bowden, yeah.
He's a Leo. So now Marissa, she was about to be my fave. And then she said she used to date a Trumper. It's okay, because it was just the person. And this is where I'm like, my head is going to explode.
I was like, she has said that way too many times. The fact that she said it at all is uncomfortable.
Ramses got a little scared. Ramses said, you did what?
Right. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, what? And why do you keep saying it?
And he was like so sure she was going to go with the military man. He like had no faith in her.
No, he didn't.
He was like, oh, you sure? Because as a Colombian and Guyanese man, I'm scared.
He did, because it's a jump scare moment. Because 3 years? Marissa.
And which 3 years? Which 3? It had to be under Trump. So
it had to be. Right, because they assumably filmed this last year, right? But I'm like, it had to be during the Trump presidency. And my thing was, when she just so casually is like, we didn't see the world in the same way. And this was my thing. Heterosexual women seem so comfortable dating men who do not share their worldview, and they just act like it's like the same as like, I like sweet tea and you like unsweet tea. And I'm like, that's not the same thing.
She was in the military. I think she sadly just had to accept, like, she decided to accept what was around her. That was the pickings. That was the pickings. Like, I think it's just more normalized. I don't know what to say. Meanwhile, Bowden's like, yeah, I look like this white privileged person. I'm a Ukrainian immigrant. I went to the military. Once things were going down in Ukraine, I went back to train these soldiers. And Marissa's like, oh, I really respect that. He then goes on this very long story about how he almost got killed by a camel because of pride.
Mm-hmm.
That was like a biblical story about pride. What do you mean you couldn't look away or else you were the weaker one? You almost died. You were the weaker one. And this is what and she was on that. She was like, of course you couldn't look away. Of course you couldn't, because you would have been weaker than the camel. This man's like, and then I almost died. And it's like, did you learn anything? Did anyone learn anything?
His friend told him, don't mess with that camel. They're dangerous. And
I hope it was a black man too.
I hope it was. Like,
you were somebody else's country and you just decide I'm going to mess with these natural animals for
that
what?
Are big. It's like he found the biggest one. He gets this warning like, hey, don't mess with them. They're dangerous. Too. And then he's like, not only am I going to do that, I'm going to find the biggest camel I can see. And then you almost lost your life. Was it worth it? Was the picture worth it?
But that whiteness is strong.
Strong.
It said, nature, I must mess with it. I was shocked because we were spending so much time with Bowden that I was like, oh, I guess she's going to pick him, even though I saw Ramsey all up in the trailer. Yeah. And then she picked Ramses.
Yeah.
And I can't really tell why. Because she's like, she seems bubbly and cute, and then she just lets something like slip, because she was like, oh yeah, like you're not like the men, like the military men. He's like, yeah, I'm just like not into like that toxic masculinity, and I feel like she likes it but doesn't like it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is the thing. I think why she chose him is because I think the intrigue of him being different. I think that's literally what it was. And I think Bowden, while I like his ideals, he's liberal, right? And so there are some things that make him different from your stereotypical military man. He is, I think, a bit more like her usual type, or seem to be, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas like, I don't think Ramses is like any guy she's ever dated. And I feel like, yeah, that attraction was there. And something about her finding out that he was a Cancer Leo.
I don't know what that was.
Now knowing that she's I knew we find out, but I'm like, is it the fire sign? It's like she liked that fire. I don't know, but it was terrifying.
It was terrifying.
It was terrifying. It was like how hyped she got. To find someone with 2 Leo placements was terrifying.
She might have known that he was gonna blow her back out.
She did. She said, "Oh, it's about to be on."
They said immediately. They were like, we barely waited. We barely made it out. There was just too much sexual attention for the pods.
They like, we had a meal and then we got it cracking. Dang,
I kind of love that. I kind of love that.
Like, wow. That's why. I mean, also, look at this man.
Look at this man.
He's giving Leo.
Yeah, for sure. She was like, oh, he gonna be fine. A double Leo? He gonna be fine.
He gonna be fine.
He's sweet and just like all of the things. But I am just like, I'm so scared because did you see the
in the trailer? Yeah, it's not looking good, right?
We never had the cheating talk in the pods.
But in the original, in like the first trailer, he's like in a pool talking to someone, and he says, "If I wasn't engaged, I'd want to have sex with you."
Ramsey says that?
Yeah, like I remember he's the one who says that. So I thought it would happen in Mexico, but I guess it must happen when they make it back to DC.
I don't know. I gotta. Oh. So one of them might be the cheater. We don't know who. Because I saw her and Bowden, and I was like, I don't like this. Like, they always do that, and maybe nothing happens, but I don't know. I have a sinister feeling coming about this season.
Exactly.
So they're having their fun, telling everybody that they're having their fun. So we'll see. We know how that fire is in the beginning. All right. Ooh. Tyler and Ashley. Tyler's a Libra like me, so
I think this is a very attractive couple, and
they're hot. Yeah,
they are so fine. Like, I'm just like,
she immediately like, "Where's my tattoo gonna be?" As he's in the pool.
When they met, their reveal, she was looking at him like, "Ooh, when we get to Mexico, it's gonna be some things."
She said, "Who's celibate? Who?" I don't have much about them because they seemed so easygoing. I know Tyler opened up about something. You could tell me more about this couple.
Oh yeah, Tyler opens up about his backstory around his mother being Serbian, and her father disowned her after she had children outside of her race, and her mother continued to have a relationship with her, but her mother was diagnosed with cancer and passed away shortly afterwards. And he was around 9 when that happened. And so his mother was like a single woman raising 3 children on her own and really working multiple jobs to like, you know, keep the lights on and keep them fed. And like, he had a really hard upbringing. And I mean, I did note before he even said his mother, like there wasn't a lot of like emotional warmth there. Like he was like, you know, we didn't say I love you to my mom. I did note that when he talked about his grandmother, he did not call her his grandmother. He said my mom's mom. And I found that to me is like a bit interesting when people denote a grandparent, not as like, this is my grandparent. They refer to them as their parents' parent in a way, because it feels a bit distant, you know. But then I'm like, okay, it seems like there wasn't a lot of emotional closeness in his family because folks are literally just trying to survive. And
Ashley, She was very open to hearing all of that. Ashley brings up sharing passwords. I'm like, girl, take this hetero conversation out of here. But Tyler passes the test. He's like, we could share passwords. Then
He's
Tyler
like, I don't
says,
care.
he said, you could have everything. And she's like, oh, I love this. And I'm just like, oh, the heteros. So Tyler, he also isn't into gender roles besides being a protector. And she was like, thank you. Thank you, because I'm just a girl. I'm just a girl. And I gotta be protected. It seems like they're pretty good to go. We'll see, because I remember Ashley cries in that trailer as well.
I know. I'm like, what happens? I love them so much as a couple.
And it's a Libra Aquarius.
We love an air sign duo. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a little airy, so I'm like, but he seems in touch with his emotions. So, yes. You know.
But can he be, like you just said about Tim, can he make room? Because he literally said, we did not make room for my mama's feelings. But then again, they're children. Should they
that was my
thinking. The person to cry on? No.
But like, he literally had like no one else. You know?
Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot. Is there anything else we want to say about them?
I really want them to work out because I really like them as a couple.
Yeah. There's no red flags here. So besides her crying in the trailer. So yeah, I feel the same way. Woo! Monica and Steven. Her ignoring all of Steven's white flags, which are red.
Red, but they might be Nigerian.
Exactly. They might be like 0.3 Nigerian and the rest white. She skipped over a lot, I think, in the pods. And I'm just like, who are you? You're a gorgeous person, and I don't understand your thought process at all.
When this man called her a mutt, I almost...
Wait, he did what? When?
Yes. So when he tells the story about his thinking they were Italian, his grandma telling them that they were Italian and finding out they do the DNA test, ancestry, they West African, Senegalese, da, 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 da. And then she's like, I can relate. Like, you
can't.
That is not the... I was like, this is a white man. He walks through the world as a white man.
He says, I am a white man. I'm glad he said that.
Period. I'm like, you are not white. So let's just, but like, and then she's like, yeah, I, like, my parents are, or my mom is Honduran, but her parents are interracial. And then he's like, oh, so you're a mutt. And she's like, yeah, I'm a mutt. And it took everything in me not to throw my iPad across the room. Because what are you saying right now?
I want to throw up. I'm trying to hold back. I'm sorry. What is going on? Because I think these women are not young. Like, Monica, how old are you?
She's in her 30s. Hannah's the youngest, and she's 26. So all of these women, except for Hannah, are essentially in their 30s.
I don't need to be in DC at all. I don't need that in my life. The North. There's a lot of Southerners as well in this, though, because it's like DMV area.
Right.
But y'all are tripping.
Here's my thing. When people be like, DC is the South, I'm like, oh, no, baby. It ain't the goddamn South. Because I know that much. If they were in the South, ain't no white man would have ever felt that comfortable to talk to a black woman and call her a mutt. I know that much.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But in the North, they'll say it with a smile on their face.
Oh, so you're a mutt. And then she just like, yeah, I'm a mutt. Monica,
get deprogrammed right now.
Right
Step in that room. Taylor, what? You two. Marissa, you two. We're all getting deprogrammed from freaking this nonsense white supremacist culture. What is going on? Team meeting right now. Anyways, so he goes on the whole DNA ancestry. And then it's so funny because then Monica, she brings up multiple times him bringing up those books As if it was like, oh my God, this white man, he like didn't get embarrassed that he has like 3% Nigerian and West African. Like, he didn't crumble. He got books about that culture. And it's like, what about books about, I don't know, Black Americans? Because if you're saying your daddy had some, let's go a little deeper of what's happening over here, sir.
Also, I'm like, is your granny still alive? Can we have a conversation with her about why she said she procreated with an Italian man? But
you know why.
Right.
You know why. The same reason why everyone's confused. Those generations, that's why every Black family thinks they have Indian in them. You don't. You have white in you from slavery. I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry to bring it up to you.
Exactly.
We're kind of all a little mixed here. My DNA came back like 50. And I was like, 50? I got 2 Black parents.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Wow. See?
So slow down, Steven. Slow down, Monica. Like, what are we doing here?
Steven just knew. He's like, and therefore I too am West African.
I too know why the cage bird sings. Steven is like, by the way, because I'm very open and I'm very truthful, since you accepted me calling you a mutt, just to let you know, I have also cheated. You know, I just slipped into this woman's DMs. We were flirting with intention. I got caught. I was very embarrassed. It was like so embarrassing. And Monica's like, oh my God. Like, thank you for telling me. Yeah, I have a past with cheating too. I'm 36. What am I gonna do? And it's like the way that this whole thing was just on Love is Blind UK. And that man almost immediately got dumped. And then this, and on top of that, this man says things like mutt and things like 3/5. By the way, he said 3/5 Black, and it's like,
he did.
Why did you pull out that fraction? No one says that.
Right. He said, my dad is either half or 3/5. And I'm like, that's not how DNA works, because.
Why did you say 3/5, Steven? Why did you say 3/5? Why? You got to answer for that, Steven.
What? Sir, what?
And he gets this, he gets Monica. He gets. I hope the Hoteps right now are sick. I know they petition. I hope they petition. I might join them. And then, so they get engaged, right? They get engaged, and then this was awkward. But later on, Steven talks about, oh yeah, I loved seeing you when you have no makeup on and you're just comfortable, all natural. And then you have a Black girl headband. But then he did this. And I was like, you mean a bonnet?
That's
she did not correct him, Quita.
My thing is, Monica letting this man be a little too comfortable.
Which she questionable. That's why I'm like, you gotta step in the room and get deprogrammed. The Black girl headband. Is it this? Steven?
I'm like, is it a bonnet? Do you mean a bonnet? Do you mean a headscarf? Do you mean an edge wrap? Like, what are you saying? There's like so many things that Black women put on their heads. Like, what are you talking about?
She actually nodded and was like smiling. And I was like, but then again, okay, I have to remember editors, maybe she corrected him, but I feel like if she did, they would have shown it.
They would have kept that in.
But I'm just like, what is going on? And I feel like Monica did not get embarrassed by any of this until they were around mixed company. Because now Steven wants to tell the other couples, the Black couples, about this, and Monica's like, yeah, and you got the books. No. Keep the same energy, Monica.
No, you thought that shit was cute when you was doing your little commentary.
You
now
sure
it ain't
did.
cute. Now it ain't cute, but he telling everybody else. Okay.
Now Steven's embarrassing you because you did not stop it in the first place. You can't switch up on your white man like that.
You can't.
Don't do Steven like that.
Also, I will say, when he said his ancestry said he was West African, I was like, well, looking at his hair, I can kind of see it.
I already know.
It was, I think, actually, maybe like one of the other black women was like, looking at his hair, I can tell. And I was like, see?
But this is what black people do. Because
shit. Even as a white man, but
now they want to act like, oh, but you could tell. Look at his face. And it's like, no, you can't. Now, white boys are getting perms right now. I will say that. Wow. So don't get bamboozled because all these biracials in the NFL have the little curly top. And now the white boys are like, I want that too. And they all get perms.
I mean, it seems like his hair is texture, but also it's like white people too can have texture hair.
They absolutely can. They absolutely can. So let's not even try because we do not need to encourage this nonsense. I don't want to see any of y'all being like, oh, he looked like my cousin. Well, your cousin's white.
Your cousin is white. If your cousin look like Steven, your cousin is a white man. I hate to break
you cannot. So let's no. Here's the thing. This is why I thought Monica said she dated a Trump person. Steven said he was a Trumpy.
He did. He said he voted for Trump in the Clinton-Trump presidency, like election.
He said he didn't like Hillary. Blah, blah, blah. He's like, now I know that's a mistake, da, da, da. And Monica just kept going on that ride. So I was like, so what's going on in DC? Like, I get it. I guess proximity or something, but it's like, I can't.
Yeah.
Who did Monica vote for? Like, this is where I'm spiraling.
And I think my thing is like what I get caught up on is like they don't ask. I mean, they might, right? And we just don't see it. But from what we see is they don't explore more conversation about their actual values and ideals. They just avoid that topic, or they just go, okay, and move on. I mean, it was the same thing. I believe it was Alexandra and Tim, but she said she was raised in the Nation of Islam, or like her dad is Nation of Islam, right?
No, I think it was like grandfather. Then her dad was Catholic. And I'm like, oh, so we are rebelling. We are rebelling.
Right. But then I'm like, this should be a moment where you talk about what are your religious, like, but then Tim went somewhere else. Like,
he was like, oh, I love Muhammad Ali.
Is she a member of the Nation of Islam? Is she Catholic? Is she a different denomination of Christian? Like, is she not religious at all?
Right. They had to have that conversation. I just have to believe they did, but for whatever reason, they edited it the way they did, because that's just natural conversation. But it's like I want so much for them. I want so much for the black women, and I'm like, the way we have the most black women ever in a season, it has to be, right?
It has. When they got to Mexico, I was like, is it, oh my God, like there are 4 black women, 1 Asian woman, and only 1 white woman. I'm like, this feels unheard of in Love is Blind, like cast, like especially.
And yet I feel so distant.
Oh, that's
from so many of them. I'm like, what is going on? Who are my people? Can I find my people?
Yeah, because can't no man to my face or through a wall call me a mutt and I'm going to get engaged to him. Ain't no way. I'm not going to proudly say on TV I dated a Trumper for 3 years.
That's
very that deep in my subconscious and never
hide that. Hide our bodies.
Truly
showcase them. That's some military stuff. Again, hop in there. Get deprogrammed. This woman is absolutely not attracted to Steven.
No.
Like, she's saying, like, yeah, I fell for his personality, da da da, if I saw him in the real world, which, Love is Blind applicants, come here, because we're on season 7, and you're still doing this, come here. Now, she doesn't like him, so I get it, the risk is low, honestly, she's not worried about his feelings. But if you're still early on and you're not sure, like, generally, you better just be the best actor you can be and being like, if I saw them in a bar, I would immediately undress them and do it right there in front of everyone. I would get arrested for public indecency. I'm so attracted to my fiance and we're absolutely getting married. It takes, like, the risk is so high being negative than positive. I can't believe these people are still saying these things in these confessionals. It was the worst. We hopefully will never get there.
I pray. But
y'all are still very comfortable because this is supposed to be about unconditional love, right?
Right. And it ain't that. It don't feel, it's giving, very like, if I had my way, I wouldn't have chose this man.
Why would you say that though? Like, just inside thoughts. Right. I know Netflix ain't paying you that much to be that honest. Like,
and it's like, I really don't think she likes him because when they are in Mexico, like the last interaction they show of them, he's like talking, and like sharing about how much he really he loved meeting the other women and like being all together and like how it was so great the women were supporting each other and he got to talk about how much he loves her in front of her friends and like he got to do the same with his friends. And then she's like, shut up. Essentially
doing it again. And he's like, oh, am I being chatty again? She's like, yes. This is my thing. You do not like that man. You know how much Jordan talks? I will bring up every single time because we talked about this on I Kissed a Girl. Jordan just talks. I quit. I do the polite thing as a Libra. Learn from me during our season. We shut down. We go down into our own little, I play the Switch. I start going on my phone. Jordan keeps talking. Jordan don't care. When something very important happens, Jordan knows they got to repeat themselves. Hey, I'm trying to pick dinner now. And I'm like, okay, I can join you. I can join you now. And guess what? No one's feelings are hurt.
Right.
There's no awkward silence. Now you made this power move because she didn't even start talking. She just wanted to eat her chips.
It felt so, and as a fellow chatty person who like, especially when I really like or love someone and I'm around them and like, I would just talk and talk and talk and talk. And I'm like, you tell me to shut up and I love you.
Days in, by the way. Me and Jordan have been together 4 years. I have earned tuning them out. I've earned that. That's my badge.
World shattered. But he just like went along with it. And he's like, okay.
He went along with it. And I'm like, all right, are we getting to some sub-dom stuff?
Right, because then he got her slippers for her. And I was just like, okay, what in the dom sub is going on? But then he did tell her, use me like a piece of meat. So
he did.
Maybe he is into that. Maybe he did like her being like, shut up, you're talking too much.
Mm-hmm. He a little cancer. He wants to be a little homemaker. And then Monica's a goddamn Gemini. So I know she chats. I know she's a yapper.
Exactly.
So it's like, and then when they're in the bathroom afterwards, and she's just trying to put on her face, and he's trying to get all lovey. I was like, oh Lord. She didn't say no. She didn't shirk away. But I'm like, I'm getting some major dom sub stuff out of this.
Yeah. I mean, I hope that's the dynamic. Because otherwise, I'm like, I'm out here defending this white man who called her a mutt. Like, what?
Nah, we're not gonna do that because we already got the teaser that Monica's crying. I don't know what Steven did.
Tis
I don't know what So we're just gonna have to wait on that. But most of these, in summary, most of these couples should not be together. There's a select
Welcome to
few.
Love is Blind US. None of these people should be together, actually.
Actually, like what? Like, okay, so we say this one, yes. Tyler and Ashley, yes. Steven and Monica, no. Whew, all right. So what do we think about Marissa and Ramsey's? Yes or no?
It's good for right now.
Uh-huh.
Long term, I don't know about that. Also, to me, they give him bisexual couple.
Oh yeah.
But big bisexual energy.
Oh yeah. I don't know what they were doing behind closed doors. But when it's that good, I'm sorry, heteros aren't having good.
No.
No.
Putting it on Marissa. Like, Marissa came out in Mexico and they were like, oh, you're glowing. And she's like, I sure am.
She might be pregnant. Like, she said 3 times. She might be pregnant. Like, who knows? So, hopefully it's a yes. I want Marissa to want Ramsey's. And right now, she want him bad.
But I guess for me, I'm like, there's really big sexual energy and chemistry. And apparently they picked up on that in the pods, which makes me a bit worried. Because now I'm just like, okay, is there going to be actual emotional depth there between them?
Yeah. And I think, sadly, gender is still going to be a part of this dynamic. I mean, Marissa later talks about, oh, I usually lead when I dance. It's like a huge problem. And Ramsey's didn't make it a problem. But I'm just like, but is she the type to be like, oh, I'm told? Like, you still want to be dominated. Because you think that even if you're naturally an Aries and naturally want to take control, do you low-key be like, but I still want to aspire to these gender roles, and therefore I still want these like very masculine men.
Exactly.
Ramsey's better be good after this. Like, I don't want a heartbreak to turn this man into anything other than what he is. Let that soft boy alone.
I mean, he a soft boy, but he also looked like a fuck boy. So I'm like, don't let the pearl earring fool you.
I can't forget what you said he said in the trailer. Like, it won't stay. I'm telling you, it won't. I think I'm into him. Like,
exactly. I'm like, he's very attractive, very double Leo energy, very fine, got his own little sense of style. Works for a nonprofit.
I need to remember he's a Leo. I get turned off by Leos. I need to remember that.
A double Leo. I can't. Moon and rising.
Can't do it. He wants celebrity. He wants fame. I'm not going to do it. All right. And then we have Tim and Alexandra. Actually, they're going to be my chaotic bi moment, by the way.
Period. Yes.
Do we have a beautiful black moment?
I think for me, it was Tyler and Ashley praying together in bed.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm not religious, so I was a bit like, what is this? But also, as someone who grew up religious, it seems like Ashley, it's very important for her to be with a man who is religious. So that was like a beautiful black moment of like 2 black people who seem very in love with each other. And the way he like put his hands out and like she, you know, puts her hands in his and then he like leads a prayer. I was like, it's cute. I love a good black moment like that.
Yeah. Do you think they bozoed after?
He said, now let's get freaky. Right?
Yes. He said, God said procreate. He
so we will. This is about to be my wife, okay?
I know you Christians get turned on by that. So you do you, boo. Yeah, Tim, it gotta go. It's gotta go.
We're done here. Like,
we're done. Nick and Hannah gotta go. For everybody's sake, please. And
Well,
then
they're
these two
done.
are gone. I can't believe I missed that.
I know. Yeah.
I think it was just like, yeah, we're done here. Like they get on the couch, it's happening for so long. I'm just ready to go to the next thing. I have to go back to that. That's
Yeah.
wild. And then we have these two. I feel like they're gonna get married. I feel like
Yeah,
Garrett and Taylor are gonna get married.
I do too. I mean, they seem very well matched for each other, and the fact that they both have like science backgrounds, they're both ambitious, but I don't know.
I
Yeah,
don't
her
know
face.
though. I don't know, because like I think Taylor, I noticed multiple, her big thing is wanting to be wanted.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
she's like, no, I'm not hard to get, I'm hard to earn. And like all of these little
Mm-hmm.
things, but it's like, but then you're also not open and like, I don't know. I feel like they're already stepping on each other's things a little bit. We're like kind of ignoring some things a little bit. That I'm just
Mm-hmm.
like, they probably shouldn't get married, but I feel like they will.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, I think because it seems like for Garrett, he does like a woman who does have stuff on her own. Because when he went on that date with Brittany, when he came out of the pod, he was like, "That's not my woman. That's not the one for me." You know, he was like very
Yeah.
clear he doesn't want kind of like ditzy blonde trophy wife type
Yeah.
energy. So I think someone like Taylor is more his speed, but I think she does need to like open up a bit more and just like I don't know, like she shares her feelings with him, but I think there is like a little bit of a softness that she's like, not saying that women have to be soft, but I'm just like, I don't know, like, girl, do you like him? Like it feels like because even when he asked her to be his girlfriend, she's like, no. And at first I thought she was joking, but like, no, she meant that. And I was like, okay, like we love
She was like, you
making
should
men
just
earn it.
convince me in 2 hours. Like, it's games. That's the thing that's
Yeah.
I have the red flags is that Taylor's playing games and like, oh, I feel like all of these women have probably been through it. Cause what is this?
Sure.
It's like coping stuff. It's all coping stuff of dealing with toxic men. So I want to have that very much a genuine understanding.
Yeah.
But it's like this is not a foundation for a marriage.
It's not. It's not. Like, it's not.
Oh well. Oh, okay, Quita. Where can people follow
We're
you?
finally at the end. Yeah, you can when they do these 6-episode drops and we had like 6 different couples. So you can find me on Instagram at hello_Quita. Yeah, and stay tuned because I'll be releasing a podcast called Grassroots University. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm your host, Nicole Weaver. I am an entertainment reporter currently writing for Collider. I will be writing about Love is Blind. I did interviews for The Circle season 7 recently. So you can go ahead and read up on that because people had a lot of things to say about this past season. And on this channel, we are going to continue with our Love is Blind recaps. Feel free to watch the past seasons that we watched and Love is Blind UK. And we're wrapping up Big Brother. So that's ending very soon. I just talked about the double eviction. And we'll see if we're going to get more postseason interviews for Survivor that just started. Our Survivor 47 recaps are going to start. The first episode this week is going to be covering episode 3 with Sabaya Broderick. She's coming back. So be on the lookout for that. And I'm actually going to do a Survivor interview on this channel. We are going to have Asia Welch, who went from Wrap Up Podcast. I actually talked about the Ultimatum Queer Love season on that podcast with her. And now she's going to come over here because unfortunately she was the third boot on Survivor 47.
Okay.
Yeah. But she did well. She did well.
Yay.
Yeah, so please follow Black by Reality across all socials. Tell your friends about this podcast if you really enjoyed it. We want to grow, and I want to do more Love is Blind interviews, but I cannot do that if these videos are not getting the right performance and eyes on them. So if you're really into this podcast, please share, like, comment, do all the things. And other than that, just have a good one. Remember that you're visible. You're visible to me. Bye.